Hello, welcome back to my class again, students. Today, we'll be taking up the chapter, The Diamond Maker, that is chapter 5. You'll find it on page 38 of your textbook. We'll discuss in detail about it, but before that, let's get to know more about our writer H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells' full name is Herbert George Wells, who was born on 21st September 1866 and he died on 13th August 1946. He was an English writer, best known as a father of the science fiction. He wrote dozens of novels, short stories, commentaries, and history as well. Now, when he was just 8, he had an accident and he ended up with a broken leg, bedridden. And he started reading books to pass his time, which were brought to him by his father from a local library. And reading different kind of books stimulated his desire to write, and he started writing at a very early age. Now his debut was 1895, The Time Machine. After that, he followed by 2 more novels, which were made into a movie. Now he died when he was just 79 years old. After the cause of his death is unknown, but many people attributed it to as suffering from he died because of a heart attack or a liver tumor. Now, let's get to the introduction of the story. The Diamond Maker is a short story written by H.G. Wells, published in 1894 in the Pall Mall budget. In this story, you will find the account a businessman hears an account from a man who has spent years and years of his life on a project of making diamond, but ended up as a desperate outcast after spending a lot of years trying to perfect the art of making diamond. This story is narrated in the first person by an unnamed person. The story opens with a narrator getting relief from his business when he's suddenly being interrupted by a stranger who looks like a tramp but spoke like an educated businessman. The stranger, according to him, he had spent years of his life learning how to make diamonds, and also he has done it secretly so that no one would copy his work. He ran out of money while trying to make diamonds, and he lived in cheap lodgings and had so many menial jobs. Still then, he did not give up and he still tried making diamonds. But he was reported by one of his neighbor to the police, making his life even more miserable. After that, he produced few diamonds. The diamond that he produced, he took it and he ran away. That's when he approached the narrator, asking him to buy the diamonds at a very cheap rate. But the narrator, he was a practical man, and to buy the diamonds under the gaslight did not seem practical for him. That is why the narrator gave him the business card, asking him to meet him in his office. Now, let us discuss the story in detail, whether the diamond maker succeeded in selling the diamonds to the narrator or not. The story opens, you'll find it on page 38. The story opens with a narrator being detained in Chancery Lane, London, because of his business, and after getting a slight headache, he went down to the embankment of the Waterloo Bridge to cool his head and rest his eyes, looking at the water, which the darkness covered the dirt, and he was enjoying the silence. The only disturbance that was breaking the silence was the rare ripple on the surface of the water. When he was enjoying the silence, he was interrupted by a man telling him a warm night. When he turned his head to look who is speaking, he saw a man who was quite refined, not unhandsome, but he was wearing a coat with his collar up. He looked as if he has been wearing that coat for a long time. And he thinks that he will be degraded if he answered the stranger. He looked at him more curiously, but when he looked at the stranger had a quality of intelligence on his forehead, but he also noticed that the stranger was nervous. So he directly spoke to the he directly spoke to the stranger that he did not want to be interrupted, saying that it is very warm, but not enough for both of us. But the stranger, he did not take the signal, and he went on to have a conversation with the narrator. Now, the stranger started by saying that after a hectic work the whole day, this place is very good for them to take rest. And he started talking about the large business that he was in, and if the business is worth the gamble. So now, if the game is worth the candle, meaning if his hard work, dedication, sacrifice will be fruitful or not. He started talking about the large business that he was having, but he says that sometimes he wished that he give up everything. Sometimes he wished that he would throw everything, his name, his status, his position, his wealth, everything. But again, he thinks that if he give up all that, he will be regretful for the rest of his life. And that is why he always hold on. Now he said all this between pauses. He became silent. The narrator looked at him again. The narrator, when he looked at the man again, the man was quite dirty. He was unshaven, and his hair was also uncombed. And he was talking of a large business, and it was contradictory. The appearance of the stranger and the way he speaks did not match at all. That is why the narrator thought that maybe he was just feeling sorry for himself. And he said that if to have high positions or to aim for high aims, he said that it also has the drawbacks, the weakness of hard work and anxiety as well. And also it has the compensations as well of doing good to the more weaker ones and the poorer ones as well. Now when he said those things, since the diamond maker, the stranger actually, and the stranger, his appearance and his talking did not match, he said that. And he spoke such contradictory speech that the stranger looked at him, but he had a very composed face, and he looked and said that of course he would not understand the situation, whatever he is in. And the stranger also told the narrator that, since you are in no position to believe me, I think it is okay if I tell you something about myself. And he told the narrator that he had a very big business going on. And he told the narrator that he make diamonds. When he told the narrator that he make diamonds, the narrator said that no, he did not believe a word that the stranger was saying. That is why he said that maybe you are out of work, and maybe you wanted to work. That is why you're approaching me this way. And the man who claimed himself to be making diamonds, he felt so frustrated. He said that no one ever believes me. And then after unbuttoning the coat that he was wearing, he took out a small canvas bag. From there he produced a dark pebble. He gave it to the narrator, telling him that that is a diamond which he had made it himself. Now when he gave those pebbles to the narrator, he had some knowledge in mineralogy and physics. That is why he observed the pebble and he tried. The diamond was big. The dark brown pebble was big. It has the form of an octahedron, meaning it has the form and shape of the diamond, but it was very big. That is why he took out a pen knife and he tried to scratch it on that pebble, but he could not make it. And then after that, he took the pebble again, and from the watch glass, he tried making a scratch, and it scored a white line on the watch glass, on his watch glass. And so now he looked at the man who claimed himself to be making diamonds curiously. And then it said that, if this is real diamond, it is a very big diamond. So where did he get it? And the stranger replied that he made it himself. And he took back the diamond, he placed it in a canvas bag, and he put it, in his, coat again. That's when the narrator, and he told the narrator that if you want it, I will sell it to you for 100 pounds. But the narrator here, again, his suspicions returned. it is such a big diamond, and how can he sell it at a very cheap price? Because a diamond would cost thousands of pounds. And he started thinking it might be a corundum, one of the hard substance which looks like a diamond. And so he got confused, and like I've said, he could not believe the stranger. But when he looked at the stranger, he looked as if he is honest. And so he told that, but again he thought that if that brown people is really a diamond, it would be mentioned in among the books of the precious stones. And also one more thing, he thinks that maybe those big pebbles were imported or exported illegally. So he put aside the question of purchase and asked the stranger, the diamond maker, like where did he get it. And so he had told him that I have heard of artificial process of making diamonds, but the artificial diamonds are quite small and you have got big ones. So he asked him. That's when the diamond maker said that, of course, since you know something about diamonds, I would tell you about myself so that you may think into buying the diamond. And now he said, diamonds are made by mixing carbon in a suitable flux out of a combination. And that's when after burning it comes out not as lead or black charcoals, but as small diamonds. And this process has been known by the chemists for many years, but it needs the right combination of the flux as well as the temperature and pressure. That is why the chemists are not able to produce that. Now, he said, he has given up all his years. He was just 17 when he started the process of making diamonds. He was just 17 and now he's already 32. That means he had spent 15 years of his life trying to perfect the art of making diamonds. Now, when he was just 21, he had around 1,000 pounds in him. And so he started researching how to make diamonds. He spent all of his years, and since it has to be done secretly without anyone knowing the process of making diamonds, because if it is done by the other people, the people might just copy his work, or maybe they will come to know, if they come to know that the diamonds can be produced in large quantities, they might take advantage of it. That is why he was doing it secretly. But then as he started spending a lot of years on the process, he started losing money, and since he had no more money to spend, he started living in a cheap lodging in a town called Kentish. He started living there. And so he even started sleeping on a straw bed, and sometimes his money, all his money has been flown away, except the electrical appliances, except the scientific appliances that he has for making the diamonds. And of course, he earned a little by teaching, but according to the diamond maker, he was not good at teaching, except in chemistry, but to save money, he has to spend a lot of his time and labor as well. That is why he stopped doing that. And so now he is getting closer and closer to the process of making diamond, but now most of the time he spends his time hungry. He did not have enough food. And so one time what he did was he put all the combinations in a gun barrel and he tried to heat it. But when he did that, it bursted, smashing all his windows and also the appliances that he has. And now, but what it produced was that small dust of diamonds. And that is why he did not give up. And since, he was close to producing diamonds, he gave his best as well. Now, one time what he did was he followed the Dobries. After manufacturing dynamite, he put it in a steel cylinder so that it won't burst other places as well. So after putting all his equipment inside that steel container which he has, he kept it in the fire. And then he went out for a walk. That's when the narrator, he got curious and he asked him, you were not scared that it would blow up the house? He asked the diamond maker. But the diamond maker, he was just interested in science. He was just, kind of obsessed with producing diamonds. That is why he did not care about anyone else. The house where he lived, there also lived a person who sells fruit and vegetables, and also the other neighbor who sells flowers. So he did not care about that, but when he came back, it did not burst, and then it was just in the place where he left off. And now after getting that, he had to cool it. He had to keep on heating the thing for long time. So he kept on heating, that steel container for around 2 years. But in order to keep the fire running, he need money. And so he tried so many odd jobs, like, selling newspapers, holding the horses for others, opening cab doors, and he did all that. And for once a week, he did not have anything at all to eat. That is why he even begged. He started begging, to eat. And fortunately, when one young man gave him 6 pence, instead of buying himself the food, he bought coals again. He was that obsessed to producing diamonds. And so after that, it has already been 3 years since he heated that steel container. He let a fire out and he took out the cylinder. He did everything, and then he started. It was like a mass. With a chisel he hammered it, and then into an iron plate. And when he did that, he found 3 big diamonds and 5 small ones. And when he did that, he was happy. That's when his neighbor came inside the door, getting drunk, calling him an anarchist. Anarchist is a person who is against the government, who opposes the government and the laws and the laws. So he called him, and calling him an anarchist, and also the neighbor told him that he has complained to the police. The police might come anytime to catch him. The diamond maker, he got really scared, and he took the diamond and he ran away from that place. So that particular evening in the newspaper, it came out that his place, the place where he lived before, the newspaper called it as the Kentish Town Bomb Factory. And that is why he could not do anything. He had run away with his diamond. Now with his diamond, he tried selling it at various, jewel dealers, but the jewel dealers did not trust his appearance because he was very dirty looking. He was very haggard as well. And after that, they will tell him to wait. And if he was waiting, they would try calling up the police. That is why he could not even sell the diamonds, which he has produced after so long. And so he told the narrator that he is the first person whom he has encountered after running away from the police, as well as after running away from the jewel dealers. He looked at him and told him that, it would be good if you buy the diamond from me for £100. But the narrator, he started thinking about it. He did not have much money. He was, in fact, also a poor man. And so, and being a practical man as well, he could not risk, £100, to buy the diamond, which he thinks that is not genuine. So he told him that, I'll give you my card, you can come to my office, he told the diamond maker. But the diamond maker told him that, you also, think that I'm a thief. I did not steal these diamonds. He was trying to, argue with the narrator. The narrator told him that, of course, I'll give you my card, you can come anytime that you want for the appointment. And he gave him, the diamond maker told him that, don't follow me after I go away from here. And then that was, that after telling him about everything, the diamond maker went away from there. That was the last the narrator ever saw of the diamond maker. And so after that, after that incident, the narrator resumed his work, and the 2 times that he was out, the diamond maker, the man who claimed himself to be the diamond maker, had sent 2 letters to him, asking him, asking the narrator to send money if he wanted diamonds to certain addresses and not checks. But then he was still a practical man, and he thought that not buying the diamond from the diamond maker was a wise course, was a wise choice. And one time, the diamond maker even tried to approach him in his office when he was out. And his assistant described the diamond maker as a very dirty man and with a very dreadful cough as well. And after that, he did not hear anything from the diamond maker ever again. So now the narrator keeps thinking what has become or what has happened to the diamond maker. Maybe he is still searching, maybe he is still in confusion, or maybe he is still searching, the person to buy to sell the diamonds to. he did not know. Or maybe the diamond maker succeeded in selling his diamonds and, become a rich man. He did not know. He sometimes thinks about what has happened to the diamond maker, and sometimes he also regrets if he has missed the opportunity in buying the diamonds. Now, that person, the diamond maker, was very poor, and then since he had no food, he was trying to sell the diamonds. And so, if in case he died, and then, if he died, no one would know that he has produced diamonds. His diamonds would be lying somewhere, with the people thinking that it might just be stones, not caring about it. So he wondered about it. He also regrets, and most of the time he thinks about, he thinks that what would have happened or what would have been the consequences if he would have risked few pounds and bought the diamonds from the diamond maker. And this is the end of the story. I'll see you in the next class.